Welcome back, baseball fans, to the final elimination and the happiest one. The only team of 32 that's happily, they don't mind being eliminated because right now they're probably hungover and don't really care if somebody says you're eliminated. So it's the Orioles, the world champs. I'm showing you, here are your world champ stats, but I'm also going to show where they came from last year. Um, they're I guess your team MVP for the whole year is Frank Robinson because he was a lone rep in the All Star game, 337, 733. Really, the numbers are collectively modest, but they're collectively consistent. 36 and 12, and 266 batting average doesn't really jump off the page. 384 team ERA is very good. It's not amazing, but it's very good. Cuellar finishes 11 and 3 with a 352 ERA and a good WHIP. You know, all the starters fall in line. Palmer, Boddicker, all with the ERAs below 4. When you look at the bottom there, Don Eddy, he was the pitcher that only pitched 13 and 2/3 innings because of the bad WHIP and bad ERA, and the Orioles didn't really put him into any danger spots as reflective of the 0-0 record. Now, Jay Howe, we saw a lot of him in some critical moments in the Championship Series and World Series. 4 and 1 with a save, but collectively his ERA was 7.36, which explains those early struggles that got him in the doghouse, that got the Orioles to be perceived as having a terrible bullpen. Meanwhile, Dick Hall's at the very top with his 4 wins. He didn't blow a save, lose a game. He had 10 saves, buck 93, and a buck '02 WHIP. So, you know, everything here is good. Uh, Bob Horner, Duran, what was the other guy? Winiger. Um, Winiger went 4 for 4 in that one broadcast, and he finished the year hitting 258. And Duran and Horner hit 217, 195. So, I mean, you know, those are, every team's got free agent guys, and you're like, how did that guy end up on the Orioles? So every team has guys like that. You know, of all these stats that are interesting, you know, Eddie Murray had 2 homers and 181 at bats, which is very strange. But let's see where they came from last year. Here's your 2019 Orioles. Similar batting average, ERA a little bit worse. The difference was Palmer, you know, 4 and 5, Cuellar 4.99 ERA, Boddicker 4.76. That's just, and McGregor, by the time this Scott McGregor card was starting to show his decline. They were like the Reds were last year too. Both teams sort of were similar. I think the Reds were 23 and 18 last year. The Orioles were 23 and 19 last year. Look at that. Look at the 4-game winners, and no one won more than 4. And, you know, Dick Hall did his job closing games out. Batting average. Brooks Robinson hit a stunning 362 with the same card you saw, the 1970 card, which was kind of wasted. Frank Robinson had again, that card just had 2 great years, 1339 and 306. Yeah, so without further ado, here are the Happy Orioles. And the great part about the Happy Orioles is that they got that World Series ring. So they got one of the 3 that they actually did earn between 1969, 70, and 71. And the good news is they have one more trip around the league with the 69 card. So let's take a look at which ones are 69 while we do this. Because they get to, I mean, the 69 squad was a team that flopped against the New York Mets. So those guys are wearing World Series rings now, and they get a chance next year with those same cards to get another ring. Cuellar, I believe, is one of them. Yeah, 69 Cuellar. So he got the ring, and now he gets a chance to do it again. And maybe these guys do face the Mets in the World Series next year. Boddicker got a ring, and he got one in the real 83 World Series. Good for him. That's actually 70 Palmer. Then 69 McNally, so he's in the same boat that Cuellar is, getting rings. This is a Ron Taylor that they have to keep. He was a Met in 70. Jay Howe's gone. The famous Don Eddy card that they might want to Just cut him. Just flat out cut him and use a draft token at the end of the draft and find another left-handed reliever to replace him, because it's just, if you're not going to use the player, what's the point, you know? Here's Dick Hall. I think this is 70 Hall. No, 69. So he can get another ring. Dave Johnson, 69. Eddie Murray will leave. This is the 70 Brooksy. Dempsey will leave. And there's Duran, the Three Stooges. Horner and Winnegar. Buford and Blair. There's Ripken. Frank Robinson. So the other 69 guys were Frank Robinson, 69, Paul Blair, 69. There you go. So those are the 669 cards. You got some bit of redemption. So here are the 8 guys from 84, and do any of them active in 72? And the quick answer is no. Dempsey, I think, started his career in 74. Murray in like 77. Not Hal, not Boddicker, Ripken, not Horner or Winnegar or Duran. So these 8 cards will all be retired. We can let them sit there next to the Reds. I'll do another video about what happens to the 84 cards. And these are your Orioles. How do they defend their title? 6 and 6. 6 hitters, 6 pitchers. All right, finally, Boog Powell gets to play first base. He's been blocked by Eddie Murray. Now he gets the first base job, and he'll relish the job. Davey Johnson gets the full-time second base job. Brooks Robinson the full-time third base job. What they don't have anymore is a shortstop, because Belanger was taken by one of the expansion teams, Portland, while the Orioles had Ripken. So now they got to find the shortstop. Maybe they can make a deal with Portland and lavish them with some talent, because expansion teams are always looking for talent. Frank Robinson will play right field. Blair and center. There's your outfield coming back. So, you know, the catchers in this Oriole era were Elrod Hendricks and Andy Etchebarren. So they can find Elrod to catch. They got to find a shortstop, and that's about it. I mean, they got holes to fill, but they should be able to fill them. More importantly, they have 6 pitchers here. And the usual suspects are coming back. Cuellar, Palmer, McNally. So you just won a World Series this way. So you bring back the guys, and don't forget Dick Hall. These other guys, you have the rights to Ron Taylor. You could improve upon him by bumping him back to 69. And then you can either cut or move on to Don Eddy. So let's... when we look at the Orioles in Baseball Reference, let's see if we can find them a decent left-handed pitcher for the bullpen, since all of the Oriole pitchers were taken by other teams, and then scout around for a catcher or a shortstop. All right, 72 Orioles. This is where the bubble finally popped, and they finished in 3rd with 80 wins this year. Not a good year for the Orioles, but let's see if we have a diamond in the rough from the rookie point. We have Palmer. Hello, Bobby Grich. 6 WAR. Hello, Bobby. Please tell me you can play just a little bit of shortstop. We know you're a second baseman. Bobby Grich. We're gonna just jump right to this, because this would be big news. Bobby Grich's 1972 Oriole card. 278, 358 on base, 415 slugging, 773. He plays short, second, first, and was 14th in MVP voting. I'm thinking, yeah, and Davey Johnson can play shortstop as well. So I think we figured out our Mark Belanger problem. His name is Bobby Grich. So that's the answer to that question. Let's keep going. Palmer, Brooks, Cuellar, Pat Dobson. Do we need a number 4 starter? I think we do. But if I'm not mistaken, doesn't Dobson win 20 games in the 71? But he's got a .07 whip in 72. So, yeah, Pat Dobson wants to be Oriole next year. Davey Johnson, Boog Powell, Paul Blair. Hey, a very young Don Baylor. Don't really need him yet. Rorick Harrison, a righty reliever. McNally, Johnny Oates. Well, Johnny Oates can catch. 261 hitting Johnny Oates. Don't rule that out. He might be the Oriole catcher next year. So, but Bobby Grich seems to make a whole lot of sense. And hello, left-handed relief pitcher we need. How about Grant Jackson? Question is, I wonder if Strat printed his card. He pitched 41 innings, has a .02 whip. I'm telling you, Bobby Grich and Grant Jackson, suddenly this team might be better than last year. Oh, wait a minute, you don't have Cal Ripken and Eddie Murray. Never mind. All right, let's go back to 71. You're not going to replace Cal Ripken and Eddie Murray, we know that. So anyway, in 71, this is a World Series team. And then we're going to start seeing now from 71, 70, and 69 all the talent the Orioles lost through the rest of the league. And it's going to become evident pretty quickly here. So there's Brooksy, but there's Merv Retmond, who's property of the Texas Rangers. Ouch. Buford they have. There's Belanger, property of the Portland expansion team. Ouch. Palmer, Davey Johnson, Boog Powell, McNally, Frank, Paul Blair, Dobson again, Cuellar. Let's check Dobson. There's the 20 wins. And you can toss a coin. Do you want the 71 Dobson or the 72 Dobson? And then what you have to balance that is, are you going to take Grant Jackson and Bobby Grich? If you take both those guys in 72, then you can't take the 72 Dobson. So there's always these checks and balances you have to use as to which year you take a player. All right, let's go back to 70. 70, Palmer, Blair, Powell, Retman, Robinson, Buford, McNally, Brooksy, Davey Johnson, Pete Reichert. They would love to have this guy, but he was snatched up. Believe he's also on the Portland expansion team. Cuellar and Belanger. Now, Elrod Hendricks. We needed a catcher, and he hits 242. So we saw Johnny Oates and Elrod Hendricks. Hey, at least they bat left-handed and can catch. That's the start. They don't have Echeverrin. The Angels stole him. Chico Simone was stolen. Kurt Moton was stolen, by other teams. That's the way it should be. I mean, you shouldn't have a dynasty like the Orioles. It wouldn't be that interesting of a league if the Orioles were just going to flatten people every year. So it's nice to see that when you have a 20-man roster that they're going to lose talent. They're going to lose 5 really good guys from a 25-man roster. And those guys are Merv Retman, Reichert, Eddie Watt, Marcelino Lopez, Chico Simone, Kurt Moton, really good players. They're not going to be on the Orioles. Look at Reichert, 198 ERA, can't have him. Marcelino Lopez, 208 ERA, can't have him. Eddie Watt, 3.25. Nope, can't have these guys. Dave Leonard, nope, can't have him either. They can't have their own players, Harden and Phoebus are still out there if they really need a number 4 pitcher other than Pat Dobson. And let's go back to the inception of this, the 1969 team. And like we said, all these guys got rings. The Robinson card, the Blair card. Was it the Palmer card? No, Palmer 70, I think. McNally card. The Cuellar card. And the Davey Johnson card. The McNally card. And the Dick Hall card. Now, Elrod at 2.3 WAR. So hang on here. Actually, this is actually pretty good for a left-handed hitting catcher. So Elrod Hendricks hit 244, but he's got a 333 on base, 383 slugging, 716 on base. It's not great, but 12 home runs for a left-handed hitting catcher. I mean, they just won a World Series with Butch Winnegar and Rick Dempsey catching. So Elrod obviously has that history with the Orioles. So it's just a question of which year for Elrod Hendricks, but he is going to be an Oriole next year. Oriole fans can rejoice. And it's a question of, do we use the 69 or 70 Elrod? And then we don't have Echeverrin. We can't get him unless we make a trade with the Angels because they stole him. And as far as pitchers go, again, it's the same story. The Orioles, again, they have nothing to worry about. Once you have Grich on this team, Elrod on this team, is it Milt Pappas? Yeah, Milt Pappas on this team. It's another World Series run. And they're going to have, 69, 76. They're going to have 3 more years of World Series eligible players So they could actually win this thing 4 years in a row if they get really, really lucky. So that's it for the elimination videos for all the teams. Hope you've enjoyed this. We'll see you next time.